Hello Home Slices, it's Kiara with Home Slice Adulting coming to you as promised with my review for Real Housewives of Atlanta season 10 episode number 1. First things first, I'm going to 100% admit and be truthful that I did not finish season 9. A lot of you probably were not subscribers when the previous season came on. I did start reviewing Real Housewives, but I was reviewing Love and Hip Hop New York at the same time. And so with school and work and my side business, things just became too much for me, and I took a little unannounced vacation from my channel for a few months. So I did not get to finish my reviews for Love and Hip Hop New York or Real Housewives of Atlanta, and for the most part it was because I didn't have time to watch the actual shows. So for those of you who have been on my channel that long, thank you guys for sticking around and waiting for me to come back. But for all my new subscribers, I want to thank you guys so much for subscribing. I'm not quite to 200 subscribers, but I am well on my way, and that is thanks to each of you. So for whatever reason that you came to my channel, if you're not subscribed, please do so down here at the bottom, whichever side it's on. You guys may wonder why I'm looking a little fancier than normal. I straightened my hair today and I was sweating, and I've already sweated it out in less than 24 hours, so I'm a little mad about that, but it doesn't look super bad. So yeah, I took my own graduation photos today, so I did my own makeup. You guys see this here? Oh yeah. Any of you want to know a little bit about how I do my makeup, you can watch the last video that I posted. It was a struggle tutorial for a look that's kind of similar to this, but kind of not. If you have any questions about the makeup, you can put it in the if you want to know like what lipstick I'm wearing or whatever, put it in the comment section and I'll answer there. But if not, let's go ahead and get started with this review for Real Housewives of Atlanta. So there's not a lot that went on. We, first episode stuff, we get a layout of where everyone is, what everyone is doing, how everyone is doing since the reunion aired. And the reason that I mentioned that I had not finished watching all of the seasons of Real Housewives was because I do not know the ins and outs of all the drama that happened between Phaedra, Kandi, and Portia. So I have to go back and watch those on my own time. So if I say something out of ignorance regarding that little situation with Kandi, Portia, and Phaedra, then forgive me, because I know not what I do. But anyway, let's get started with who they got started with. Kandi. Now, Kandi for a long time has been my favorite Real Housewife, but something about her on this episode annoyed me a little bit. But anyways, Old Lady Gang apparently is doing great, which is odd because Old Lady Gang is the worst name for a restaurant in the history of ever, and I will never stop saying that because it is a really bad name. Old Lady Gang, I mean, they can kind of get away with OLG, okay, but Old Lady Gang, I cannot. And some Negroes came from Chicago and Birmingham to come eat at this place, and I'm like, all right, y'all are pushing it. Were you trying to be on TV or were you there for the food? I don't know. Anyways, Kandi says that even after all the drama that she dealt with Phaedra and Portia, she's the people's champ. And I'm like, isn't that The Rock? Dwayne Johnson? I don't know. Anyways, I think Kandi has too much on her plate. Kandi cries multiple times during every season of Real Housewives of Atlanta, and I feel like this season is going to be no exception. In addition to being a mom of like a 1 or 2 year old, I don't know how old Ace is, and he's super cute, but she's also a wife. She's a restaurateur. She has other businesses going on, and she's trying to get back with, or she is and has gotten back together with Escape. So yeah, she's doing too much in my opinion. I think that she's overwhelmed, but whatever. I think it's interesting that there was interest in Escape getting back together because they had like 2 or 3 albums and like a good handful of hits. But to me, there are so many other girl groups that came after that were better, TLC, Destiny's Child, that there was no reason for them to get reunited. But if they're making money off of it, which is what Kandi is all about, then great, go for it. So that being said, so my DVR, you know, caught a little bit of Escape's like little mini series that they were talking about, and the beginning of it looked quite interesting. So I'm actually gonna watch that despite me not being a huge fan of Escape, okay? But anyways, let's move on. So next we see Cynthia. Cynthia's house finally has furniture in it. She's calling it Lake Bailey, even though the lake is, her house is one house of many that are on the lake, but whatever. Nene comes over. She's as crazy as ever. She looks different. She's clearly had some work done. And Cynthia is having her 50th birthday party, even though her birthday was months ago. And she is, she wants everyone to come as a different version of her, which I think is cool and a little, like, you know, Portia said later on in the episode, a little bit full of herself, but it is cool. It's very cool. But anyway, Cynthia says to Nene that Kenya is married and that Kenya is going to be over in just a little bit to confirm or deny that. Because Cynthia, despite being Kenya's best and only friend, did not invite her to the wedding and has not told her anything about it. But she does know that Kenya is dating some guy named Baby. And not Tony Braxton's Baby. So his real name is not Baby. But anyways, Nene reacted the same way everyone reacted when they found out that Kenya got married. Like, where's the marriage license? Is this a ghost dude? Is he visible? Is he real? Was he born? Was he paid? We have a lot of questions, and Nene is not one to hold her tongue regarding any questions that she may have. So, anyways, Cynthia can't even get straight the number of months Kenya has been dating this guy before they got married. But finally, Kenya shows up, and she and Nene are dressed alike, and Nene jumps right in. Well, are there congratulations in order for your nuptials? And Kenya plays dumb at first, but she does confirm, and she shows her little ring. I don't have one. I'm not married yet, but hopefully soon. She shows up her ring, and it's a nice ring, nice enough. And Nene is a jealous friend, and Nene is upset that Cynthia feels the need to be gushing. I think that's the word she used. Cynthia's gushing over Kenya's nuptials when she wasn't even invited to the wedding. And so I'm like, Nene, stop being jealous or whatever. You come down so hard on Kenya about being fake married, and then you get mad when somebody tries to be happy for her. Whatever, Nene. But anyways, Kenya says she's had a fairy tale ending. And I'm like, you just got married. Your marriage is just beginning. I didn't like the terminology, but it could have just been a little slip of words. Come to find out, Kenya didn't even invite her dad because she didn't know what her dad was going to say, and we'll talk about that later. And Kenya says that, you know, eventually she's going to move in with her new man because Moore Manor has a ghost in it. And it's like, what kind of ghost could be there? Because the house was foreclosed on in the middle of the original construction, and you bought it and built it out. So unless somebody died in the construction of the house, there should be no ghost there, unless it's the ghost of boyfriends rented past. And then Cynthia said, oh yeah, the ghost was breaking windows. Then he was like, oh, you talking about Matt? So I don't know if Kenya actually meant ghosts of boyfriends rented past, or if it was the actual ghost in there. So whatever. Kenya says that she wants to keep her man away from the girls and the cameras, I'm guessing, because she doesn't want all these outside influences on her man. So yeah. Moving on. Next we see Portia, and Portia is probably going to be my second to least favorite housewife this season. After the whole situation, or what I know of the situation with Candy and them, I feel like I'm over Portia. Like, it's not cute anymore. She's still beautiful as ever, I will say that, but I'm just kind of over her. Anyway, Portia has a podcast, and it's like, Houseway, who wants to hear more from Portia after listening to her on Dish Nation? I know I don't, but people are asking her for advice, and I'm like, if you're listening to Portia on her podcast, you have seen her on the show. Now, who wants to have advice given to them by someone who doesn't know the Underground Railroad wasn't actually like a legit railroad? Whatever. Anyways, it's like a super cheap thing. They have little microphones that they use, and it's done in her house. But whatever. I guess people are just listening and not watching. So I guess that's fine. Anyways, we learned that Phaedra texted Portia on her birthday, and Phaedra's reached out to her, but Portia is under the impression that Phaedra used her to get back at Candy, and without knowing everything that happened last season with that situation, I can't say yay or nay, but if anyone wanted to use somebody as a pawn, it would be Phaedra, and if anyone could be used as a pawn, it would be Portia. So, you know, the pieces fit. Anyways, Portia says that she and Candy haven't really talked yet since the whole situation, but Portia is giving Candy some... Okay. Moving on, we see Nene. Nene has a new boutique called Swag Boutique, and it's interesting because swag is like one of those words that's been played out for a little bit, but it's Nene, so we'll let her get away with it. Sheree shows up. She looks great, but I am not a fan of Sheree. Maybe she can turn it around this season because I wasn't totally annoyed by her this episode, so we'll see how that goes. Anyways, Sheree says, you know, I used to own a boutique. I used to own a boutique, and I don't know if Nene's compares to mine, but it's cute. So yeah. Sheree, what happened to your boutique? Let's talk about that. What happened to your boutique? Did it crumble because of your inability to manage your finances? Because it seems likely given your history, but whatever. Y'all, there was a confessional look that Sheree had where she had this hideous platinum blonde wig on, and it made her look terrible. I hated it. It was the worst. But Nene was teasing her about being in love with somebody because she had a necklace that said love on it, and then her confessional look was terrible. I hated it. Anyways, Nene brings up Kenya's marriage, and Sheree, like Nene, wants to see a marriage license. Nene brings up Portia, or Sheree brings up Portia, and Nene is like, well, she's been having an issue with me because 2 years ago on one of the reunions I gave her some advice and she didn't want to take it. And so you know, Sheree was like, okay, well, y'all need to chop it up and whatever. Nene also claimed that Portia said some stuff about her on Dish Nation. So yeah, so Nene doesn't think Portia's a good friend, which we know from, you know, several seasons ago, particularly when they were in Savannah or something like that. I don't know. Anyways, and then Sheree brought up a really good point that Nene likes to surround herself with people who are yes people, who agree with her, stand with her and agree with her. She needs them to survive. Anyways, and so as soon as somebody disagrees with Nene, she tends to throw them away. So Sheree brought up a good point about that. So that could very well be one of Nene's problems. Anyways, we move on, and we're talking about Kenya. Kenya's dad calls, and come to find out, he didn't know that she had gotten married. So every time we hear about Kenya's marriage, it gets sketchier and sketchier. But Kenya said that she had a conversation before she eloped with her, you know, new boo. And the way her dad was talking, it led her to believe that he was going to act a fool at the wedding because he's not very good at holding his tongue. So, they have a conversation, and it was actually kind of sweet. They were, you know, you could tell his feelings were hurt, and you can tell Kenya felt sorry about it. And for a moment, everything seemed really real about her actually getting married. So, I mean, it was a sweet moment. But, you know, if you're trying to fool everybody, including your dad, then you really gotta, you know, pull it off. So she pulled it off in that moment. I was like, you know, she might have actually gotten married in St. Lucia. So anyways, and I was like, if everyone was afraid of what their family would say, everybody would end up eloping, but whatever. So yeah, her dad forgave her and it was really sweet. So lastly, we come to the 50 Cent party, which is the 50 Shades of Cynthia party. I thought that was a really cute name, 50 Cent. But anyways, she says she talks to Peter often. She called Peter up and she was like, hey, I sent you an invitation. Are you coming? And he's like, it sounded like he was just kind of waking up or something, or he was in somebody else's bed possibly. But he's like, I have too much to do up here. I can't come but have fun. And you can tell Cynthia was like saddened by that. And I'm like, you are divorced. Okay, the man has a life in a whole nother city with other businesses ruining other people's lives. You know, let him go. But Cynthia just feels sad in that this is like the first birthday in several years that he hasn't made it. Anyways, Mallory shows up. Don't like her, never have. Mallory and Cynthia's mom, whose name I can never remember. I think it starts with a B. But anyway, Nene shows up as generic Cynthia, I guess, because Cynthia does wear the hair wraps, but I don't recall her wearing all white. I mean, when the other girls showed up, they showed pictures of the looks versus the costumes that the ladies were wearing, but there wasn't one of those for Nene, so Nene just kind of did what she wanted to do. But when it comes to Cynthia, Nene always does what she wants to do. Anyways, when Nene shows up and she sees Kenya, she says to Kenya, oh, hi, Miss Daly. And so apparently Kenya had posted that her husband's name is Mark Daly. And, you know, that's where you need to get your news from if you want to hear anything about Kenya's life. So, anyways, Candy and Shamia, I believe that's her name, Shamia. I can't necessarily remember, but I think that's right. Candy and Shamia show up. They look very good. And everybody who showed up looked great. Candy was upset about not knowing anything at all about Kenya's wedding. Candy hugged Portia and ended up regretting it because she's like, I don't want to be fake at this party. Mallory almost fell trying to walk on the catwalk, but then Candy wins an expensive trophy for being the best version of Cynthia. And I'm like, Cynthia, you paid for this party and for that expensive heavy trophy to give to somebody for being the best version of you? I don't think so. Anyways, I hope they got her some great gifts because she spent some money on that party. Anyways, the Married to Medicine ladies are there. Candy was not here for Portia and didn't want to be in her presence, so she just, you know, in no uncertain terms was like, hey, I gotta go. I thought she was leaving the party. She was just leaving the area because she didn't want to be next to Portia. And so Candy was like, I didn't want to be fake, so, you know, I'm just not gonna be there. So Sheree is pretending to be the peacemaker, and I said this on my reviews last season that I feel like Sheree pretends to be a peacemaker to stir up mess. For whatever reason, Sheree seemed more sincere this time. Maybe she's just getting better at acting, or maybe she just has lost all the anxiety from not being able to live in Chateau Sheree. I don't know. Anyways, she's basically getting Nene and Portia together, and they're both kind of resistant at first, but then they end up talking. And so Nene starts backpedaling and pee-popping, saying, I never said that you were gonna get fired. So basically, Portia only wants to talk about what happens on Watch What Happens Live because that was the end for her. But Nene wants to go back to 2 years ago, the last time that they talked, and the fact that she doesn't believe Portia was ever really a good friend to her. So, yeah. So, you know, it always goes down at Cynthia's parties. You know, people are always arguing and fighting. And Nene leaves the party and everyone stays to wish Cynthia a happy birthday and sing happy birthday to her with Candy. Happy birthday. And it's like, Candy, your voice is kind of gone. Kind of. But anyways, next time we see that Cynthia is dating at 50 years old, and 50 Shades of Cynthia might be coming out with these dudes telling her that she needs to put on a blindfold, but whatever. Sheree is hiding something from her kids. Is it a medical illness? Is it the fact that they're going to be kicked out of Chateau Sheree? Who knows? But that therapist tells her you owe it to your kids to tell them. So we'll find out what the secret is, and it's probably not even as bad as we think it is. But the moving out of Chateau Charade thing is serious if that's the case. It's probably not. We would have heard about it in the blogs. But anyway, Kenya is being drama queen and acting as if her 10-day marriage is already about to break up because her boyfriend is so overwhelmed by all of this, I guess, Real Housewives of Atlanta stuff, whatever. And then we see Portia and Shamia rehashing a situation that was supposed to have been resolved already. But Portia's just not here for it. She's like, you know, I don't really care about your side of things. I'm over it. So Portia is in her no new friend stage. So that's it for my review, guys. There wasn't a lot going on, but I managed to do a 20-minute video, I guess. But thank you guys for watching. If you all are interested in the way I straighten my hair, it's not looking the best right now. Like I said, it's sweated out, but I will put a link up here about how I straighten my hair with E-Tape products. Yeah, I'm so mad that I spent all that time straightening all this hair and it sweated out in less than 24 hours. I'm very annoyed by that. But thank you guys for watching. You all have a great night and peace out.